Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another concept session for Mat 170. Today, we're going to be going over graphing reflections of functions and then also how to write those functions. My name is Nick, and I work with the ASU Tutoring Centers. Let's go ahead and get started. So, as you can see on the screen, they give us an equation here that equals f of x, and they want us to graph f of x, negative f of x, and f of negative x. So let's go ahead and determine what those equations are, and then we'll go ahead and graph them and look at the relationships. So they give us f of x, so we can go ahead and just rewrite that. So we have 2x plus 1. For negative f of x, we actually did a concept session on this where we kind of went a deep dive into negating functions. Basically, all you have to do is just multiply -1 to each part of the function. So that would mean that our negative f of x would be negative 2x minus 1. And then our f of negative x, we actually also did a different concept session on. And really what they want you to do here is just plug in negative x for every spot that there's a regular just x value. So in this case, there's only one spot. So we would do negative 2x plus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to change my color real quick. We're going to go ahead and just graph f of x over here. And then after that, we'll graph negative f of x and kind of look at the relationships there. So we know that our y-intercept is +1 and our slope is +2. So we're going to go up 2 and then to the right 1, down 2 to the left 1. And then we'll draw a straight line, hopefully. There we go. Cool. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is draw negative f of x. So as you can see here, our y-intercept is -1. And then we have a -2 slope, which means I'm still going to go up 2, but instead of going right, I'm going to go left. And then likewise for going down. So we'll go down 2 and then to the right. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a straight line. Now, kind of looking at these two equations, first off, hopefully you notice the pattern of the y-coordinates. So the y-coordinates, they're the same value, it's just they have opposite signs. So if you look up here, the y-coordinate for this point of f of x is 5. And if you look at the corresponding down here, it's -5. So what that's telling us is that negative f of x is reflecting over the x-axis, right? So the way I like to think of it is it's kind of the opposite of the coordinate point that has differing signs. So like in this case, we're looking at the y values here, right? So y values, y values, y values, and y values. And we know that the signs are opposite for those. So that means, in my head at least, it's the opposite axis that we're reflecting. So that means if the y values are opposite, we're reflecting over the x-axis. Now, let me erase real quick what we have here, and then we'll take a look at what happens when we do f of negative x. Now for f of negative x, we have a y-intercept of 1, but a -2 slope, which means we're going to go up 2 and then to the left. Down 2, right, right. Perfect. So now looking at this, what you can tell is that now we have x values that are differing, right? So from here, what we can look at is because these y-coordinate values here are different, right? We have a -3 here for this bottom point and then a +5 up here. But if you look at the x values here, we have -2 for the x coordinate here and then +2 here. -1 here, +1. We have an overlap, the -1 here, +1, -2, +2. So what that's saying is that since the x values now have the differing signs, we're reflecting over the y-axis. And that's what negative x does, is it takes your original equation and reflects it over the y axis. So say if you ever have like a question on any of your exams of take this equation and reflect it over the y-axis, or take this equation and reflect it over the x-axis. That's how you're gonna do that. So you just have to remember which is which. So you just have to remember that negative f of x reflects over the x-axis, and then f of negative x reflects over the y-axis. So hopefully that was able to provide you a good overview of this concept. If you have any other questions, feel free to visit tutoring.asu.edu for more information about our tutoring centers on the ASU campus. We have tutoring centers on all 4 major ASU campuses, as well as an online tutoring center. So again, go ahead and go onto that website, check out the tutoring centers for specific locations, and then also hours of operation. If you like this concept video and you want to check out some other ones, go ahead and go to that other link, and that'll direct you to a document that lists out all of the different concept sessions for your class. But other than that, that's all I have for you today. Hope you have a great rest of your day and good luck in your course. Thank you.